There are only two kinds of people in this world that I truly despise. Now, I don't hate them as individuals. I don't hate their accomplishments. I don't hate their lack of accomplishments. I hate their philosophy. Now, with that being said, these two kinds of people are those who are complacent or those who are entitled. With that being said, I want to share a quote because I've been on both sides of this coin. I've both been complacent. Some can argue I'm still complacent, but I'm coming out of it. Some could also argue that I'm still entitled. I have been entitled. I have been complacent. I understand both of these feelings and both of these personality traits very, very well. Better than most, I would like to argue. I listen to quotes. I read quotes, whether it be music, a poem, from a book, a movie, what have you. In this particular instance, it's a movie. There's a film that came out in 2011. It starred George Clooney. It was called The Descendants. It was more or less these descendants, hence the title, of Hawaiian royalty owned this land, being George Clooney's character, and he was more or less a real estate agent. He was contemplating whether or not he would sell this storied, rich, historical land in Hawaii to more or less cover his ass after his wife and his daughter's mother's passing away, and more or less be able to ensure them to have a future, or if he was going to tough it out and keep the land, and how he copes with the loss of his wife. And the quote was, "I want to leave my children with enough money to do something, not enough money to do nothing." And because of this, I've sort of embodied a new philosophy, not just this quote, but many quotes, and I have taken the same general route. I don't want to ever be done. I don't ever want to be finished. I don't ever want to be comfortable. I don't want to be the guy who is sitting in Hawaii, sipping on, I don't know, Bloody Marys or whatever the stereotype would be, because he can, and he takes vacations for 4 months out of the year. I always want to be striving to be bigger and better. I've said the quote before, I aspire to inspire people, and I've lost that lately. I don't feel as though I have a lot of stories to tell or to share anymore. I've done YouTube for coming next month 4 years. I started in February 2010, and because of this, I understand what it means to pay my dues, and a lot of people don't pay their dues. If I stop and I look at the roster changes, which, like I said, is the catalyst of this video, I see people who join a team, don't win their first event, leave the team to try and win that next event. Nobody sits here and nobody feels as though they actually have to work hard to earn what they get. They all have this intense need for instant gratification. Nobody stops and puts in the time. I have made videos for 4 years. I have, at one point in time, averaged 5,000 views a video back when I was only about a 10K subscriber channel. On several other channels, I've lost channels, whether it be via them getting hacked because I was an idiot and I pissed off the wrong person, or Activision shut them down, I got copyright strikes and lose partnerships, this, that, or whatever, or I just kill a channel by blatant inactivity. It's happened to me many times. However, I've posted for 4 years and I've gone from averaging 5 to 10. I have a video with over 250,000 views, which is still growing to this day. And because of this, I had a hard time adjusting to talking to 200 people, but I'm still here. I work my ass off. I've been streaming constantly. I've been posting very regularly compared to how I was several months ago where I just disappeared. I'm working hard, and I'm not making excuses, and I'm not trying to get a handout. But I look at people who are afraid to work hard, and it pisses me off. I don't understand. Like, you feel as though you're entitled to being handed a COD Championships ring. You feel as though you deserve it. Therefore, you're not going to sit around and actually take the time and effort that it takes to actually be rewarded with the success that comes in both paying your dues and in trying really, really hard, devoting your time and energy in every waking minute of your being to being the best you can be, regardless of the genre, whether it's gaming or you want to be a figure skater, or you want to be a painter, or you want to be a writer. You have to put the time in. You don't get handed anything in this life. And if you expect to be handed something, you're doomed to fail. And I'm a prime example of that. My father passed away when I was 10 years old, okay? And my mother was getting checks for 8.5 years until I turned 18 for a little over $1,000 a month. It tallied up to about $116,000 for myself and $116,000 for my sister separately, okay? And because of this, I was told that if anything were to ever happen to my dad, I would have a safety net, sort of a springboard to get my life off the ground. Shortly after my father passed, my mother quit a salaried job working for a state university, Sonoma State University, and because of this, she wound up using those checks to get by. I didn't know this until I was about 16 or 17 years old, and that is the baseline for a lot of resentment that I have towards my mother, and I wish I had a better family life, but I don't. And that is the main reason why. With that being said, I am now 21 years old. I failed to launch. I lost an apartment a little over, well, actually about 2 years ago come June. I've been at home. I've been working full time, left and right. In fact, there was points where I was working 2 jobs, doing 60 hours a week. I would go to work from, 6 p.m. to about 10, being a very part-time job, and then I would go to bed, I'd get back up, and I would work from 2 a.m. to midnight, or not midnight, 2 a.m. to noon, pardon me, and I would just do this every day, while grinding on YouTube, doing videos every day for months and months on end, and, I didn't do that because I felt like I had to do it, because I was entitled to a certain level of success. I did it because I screwed myself in more or less slacking through school, saying, I don't care, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get a degree, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that with the money that my father got, and it's not here. My mother used it. She wanted to go back to school, get 2 master's degrees who are now obsolete in the field that she wanted to get them in, and I have nothing. And it's my own fault because I was entitled. I expected her to, once she started selling property that she inherited, to give me the money back, and she didn't. I was entitled, and I felt that I deserved something, and I was actually on my way to receiving a certain modicum of success, and because I was an entitled little prick, I fucked it up. And when I was there, I was also comfortable with what I was doing via YouTube, and I got cocky. I was friends with people like FPS Kyle. I was friends with a lot of people who were relatively powerful in the community. I had ties and ins with all sorts of people, and I got complacent regarding YouTube, and I honestly think by now I could have been making honest to God, could have been making a living from it. And I got cocky, and I got arrogant, because I felt like I deserved more, but I was complacent with what I was doing, and I didn't want to work hard. And I fucked it up, and now I'm talking in front of 200 people. So I don't understand why everybody's so afraid to put hard work in, but I'm done with people like this. It's disgusting to me. I don't understand where you lost any and all concept of loyalty. It's absurd to me. Nobody has any real substantial merit or honor anymore, and I know it sounds silly because this is just video games, but this is it's much bigger than video games. This is life. Pay your dues, because God knows there's somebody else out there who's trying their ass off and going nowhere. Be thankful of where you are and show some respect.